That over 100 passport-holding U.S. citizens are fighting alongside these terrorists. Now, this news comes as we are learning more about Abdir Aman Muhammad, the second known American killed while fighting for ISIS in Syria, who had reportedly worked for a subsidiary of Delta Airlines and held a security clearance at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. Here with reaction to the threat of homegrown terrorism in America is the CEO of American Friends of Somalia, Omar Jamal, and Imam Muhammad Sadiq. Imam, let me go to you. Let me ask you a question. To what extent should American law enforcement be looking into the radicalization at certain mosques in America? Is that something that we should be doing, considering those that support radical Islam are a threat to our national security?
First of all, Sean, with the name God, most gracious, most merciful, to the families of James Foley and Stephen Soloff, we, the Muslim community, in association with Imam Warathdin Muhammad, extend our sincerest, heartfelt condolences and sympathy for the senseless loss of lives for your loved ones. Know that these deeds were the deeds of savages and not the deeds of Muslims who believe in the Quran and al-Islam. Our sympathies also include innocent Palestinians, Israelis, and others who have lost their lives in these vicious, damnable violence.
But we have a threat in the world that's called radical Islam. ISIS, ISIL, Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood, Islamic Jihad, all of these groups, Boko Haram, they're all terrorist groups. Do you not acknowledge, Imam? You acknowledge they're all terror groups, right?
I'm not going to acknowledge they're all terrorist groups.
You're not going to acknowledge that? Which group is not a radical Islamic terrorist group? Which one?
I don't. Again, we've been through that. We condemn violence.
I agree.
We condemn the savage behavior of ISIS. And as we learn what these groups are about,
radical Islamist groups are dedicated to destroying Israel, obliterating it, in the words of Hamas, and that they're dedicated to seeing you in New York and raising the flag of Islam in the White House. They're all terror groups. Will you not say that, acknowledge they're all terror groups?
I'm not going to give a broad-brush condemnation of anything. If you want to take one at a time and you want to dedicate a program to analyzing one at a time.
Is ISIS a terror group?
What I know of ISIS, it is a terrorist group.
ISIL, same thing?
That's the same group.
Al-Qaeda?
Al-Qaeda, that's the same group.
Boko Haram?
Boko Haram, their deeds are totally unacceptable, and their activities are terrorists.
Hezbollah?
Beg your pardon?
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah, we don't know much about Hezbollah other than what they have done in Lebanon. Well, I don't know them as a terrorist group. Keep moving.
What about Hamas? Hamas's charter calls for the obliteration of Israel.
Well, if they called for that, and if they did terrorist deeds, then in that context, but Hamas is the democratically elected representative.
And their charter says to obliterate Israel. Obliterate is their word, and kill Jews.
I haven't seen their charter. I haven't seen their charter.
Listen,
send it to me, Sean.
If people,
send it to me, Mom. Send it to me, and I'll look at it.
I'm a Catholic. If people were killing in the name of my religion and radicalizing my religion, I would condemn them. I would think as a Muslim you want to do that.
You didn't condemn the Duck Dynasty yesterday.
What about the Duck Dynasty yesterday? He was talking about radical Islamists. Either they change their minds, or we have to kill the people that are beheading innocent Americans.
Doesn't that sound like ISIS?
No, it doesn't.
Isn't that what ISIS is saying?
Well, do you think is there any other way? How would you deal with ISIS that are beheading Americans? What would you do?
I would do just what President Obama is doing.
Nothing. Nothing.
Well, that's what you say, nothing. That's what you say, nothing.
All right, let me bring in our other guest. Omar, go ahead, weigh in.
Yes, sure. Thank you for having me. And again, I would like to have this chance to express my deepest and condolence to the families of Stevens of the death of this savagery and barbaric act. And again, one more time, the problem we are facing here is that this kind of discussion where the majority of the Muslim leadership in this country are playing a political game here. This is not a game. The Muslim leadership has to come out in full force and condemn and take the ownership of this war. Our kids are recruited and brainstormed and indoctrinated right in front of us. Muhammad Abdurrahman was killed in Syria.
Do you think Imam Sadiq is not taking responsibility by condemning the terror groups that we all know are terror groups?
I think he's talking in a way that's very confusing. I challenge him to come out and join us and condemn those terrorist acts. In Somalia, Al-Shabaab is very active. They've killed thousands of Somali people, women and children, just like ISIS is doing right now.
Yeah.
I think we should take this ownership and come out of the closet.
Here's where we are, and this is where we are. They've declared war against the people that you're mentioning, the Yazidis, America, and Israel. They've declared war in the name of the religion Islam. They are radical Islamists, and every good-hearted human being on this earth ought to condemn them.
Including Muhammad Sadiq, who just did.
But how are you going to fight this war when you have even the law enforcement agents are intimidated by care that they have to be politically correct?
Listen, if we don't come to grips, these are modern-day Nazis, radical Islamists. They want to kill Jews, destroy Israel, and kill Americans. That's what their goal is. That's the people they're beheading. We better come to the truth of that, but I got to run. Gentlemen, I'm out of time. Thank you both for being with us. Coming up, mainstream media, they're doing Obama's dirty work when it comes to the rise of ISIS. Plus, tonight.
And I hope that all of you will use the principles of Allah and our God to bring peace and justice to all.
Good grief. Our great American panel reacts to former President Jimmy Carter's outrageous remarks. Geraldo Rivera, Bernard McGurk, they're next, straight ahead.